Hey Siri.
Entering safe area.
Day when nobody comes knocking is a good day.
Agent in need of backup.
So they made missions,
Yeah, it's a
control
today
points, open whatever. So for instance, I completed the city headquarters here, and then I went to the retaliation screen after, and you can see that the bar for the outcasts had filled up. Now, once you play through enough content to entirely fill that agitation meter, you can go to the retaliation screen on your map and decide whether or not you want to take one on. Once you fill that meter, you have a 6-hour window to decide whether or not you want to play it. If you do choose to, it then loads you into a separate instance of the open world. In this separate instance, you will not run into any other players.
Oh,
In
no,
the
it's
safe
a
houses,
today
you won't find any friendly NPCs roaming around. It is just you and your team, if you have one with you. And so whichever zone the retaliation is taking place in, you spawn in that zone's safe house. And from that point, you're given an 8-minute timer, which is visible just below your radar. Now, the goal and win condition of retaliations is to retake each control point within whatever zone you're in. Kills that you get while you're running around, as well as completing different activities like the control points, will extend that timer, whereas deaths or other
like, so
obstructions you run
why are
into
you like
hinder
worried
your
about
chances
what I
of
do,
success.
bro?
So, a couple of things to know. Fast traveling is entirely disabled within retaliations. You spawn at that safe house, and then you have to go out and run from there. Also, you cannot leave the game zone that you spawn in. If you try to, it will give you the leaving playable area warning. However, you're not stuck within this mode. If you do choose to back out, you can open up your map and you'll see there's a retreat option. So, as I mentioned, your goal is to retake each of the now hostile control points. Is that it? Not quite. For one, there will be random waves of NPCs that will spawn and attack you as you move throughout the zone. These are very akin to the Division 1 Westside Piers, if you played those. Just kind of constant forces and threats moving your way. The control points themselves behave slightly differently than normal. Again, there are no friendly NPCs within this mode. Instead, you play through kind of multiple waves of attack and defense. These can feature multiple bosses, at least on Heroic, which is what I played on. And at times, you'll run into special enemy compositions. I played one where there was a wave of like all suicide bombers that ran my way. Another time there was just a whole squad of tanks running around. But the real icing on the cake here is what are known as kill squads. Now these are deadly teams of NPCs that will randomly spawn and attack you during a retaliation. This can happen either during a control point that you're attacking or while you're just out there traversing the zone. Now these kill squads consist entirely of bosses, and they can contain many enemy types. For instance, I had one time where 2 of those underground faction chainsaw heavies were in there. So for the most part, that is what you need to know in terms of gameplay and objectives. Whether or not you win or lose the overall retaliation, you will end with a screen like this showing how many points you retook and what your rewards are. That brings up the question, why should I play retaliations, right? What is the incentive? Well, retaliations, for the first time in the Division 2, offer exotic blueprints. Not the reconfiguration ones that we have now, but the ability to make an exotic from scratch. Now, this includes every exotic weapon and gear item that is in the general loot pool. So it does not include the project-based ones, items like the Ridgeway's Pride, the Capacitor. It also does not include raid or otherwise exclusive exotics. Things like the Eagle Bearer, the Ouroboros, all of those. As far as how to get these blueprints, you have a chance to get one from slain Kill Squad members. I got the Collector's Blueprint from one that I faced. Any of these that you get, you can visit the crafting bench to view. They do require materials found exclusively from retaliations to craft. These are awarded from facing the various factions. However, there are also conversion blueprints that are available if you need to kind of switch around what type of resource you have. But I think that is most of the info that you need to know about retaliations. So let's switch on over to some of my thoughts. Alright, so what do I think? Let's start with some of the positives. I have been crying from the rooftops for years that Division needs to take advantage of its open worlds more, right? They are so detailed, tons of time goes into making them, and then when we get to the end game, it shoots us off to 10 different modes and maps that aren't a part of the main world. So the fact that Retaliations gives us a reason to spend time in the main world, it remixes the gameplay into a race against the clock plus like a hunt sort of thing from the enemies. Awesome premise. I also really like the fact that we can't fast travel
Today
in
off.
this, right? It actually helps
Took
to
it
know
off.
shortcuts in the open world and have a general sense of direction and where you're going. And just this overall idea of these pressurized onslaught type of control point fights is awesome. It's exactly the kind of replayable and
took
push
today
your
off.
build to the limit experience that I really crave in these games. That's also reinforced by the idea,
Yeah,
at least maybe not the
today off,
execution, but the
basically.
idea of the kill squads. Love it. Unpredictable, powerful, chef's kiss. So all of that sounds great on paper, but
Yeah,
does
that's
it come
today.
together? Again, in execution, there's a couple of things to keep in mind here. As far as the rewards of this mode, I'm not the target audience. I have every single exotic in the game, right? I don't need blueprints to craft anymore. So that's kind of out of the conversation for me because I'm here for the gameplay. That's what I'm giving feedback on. Something else to note, from a difficulty perspective, which we're going to get more into, my PTS character is very unideal to test the limits of this mode. Reason being, on my PC character, I have no shade levels, no expertise levels, I don't have my preferred specializations unlocked, so the character that you are seeing play through retaliations in this gameplay is the freshest of fresh endgame character and template you can imagine. Also, the presentation of retaliations here on the PTS is not the full scope of the feature. The patch notes detail a mechanic called maneuvers, which seem to be these optional objectives that exist in between control points to offer more ways to extend the clock. So I can only give feedback on what is on offer right now. We will have to wait and see what else is planned for this mode. But to really get down to it, my main point of critique is I'm worried
Yeah, we
that
took
this mode
off
doesn't currently do enough
Friday.
to
You get a
challenge
three-day
players who are seeking
weekend.
that higher end difficulty scale. Now I know, elitist rogue strikes again. I think as I mentioned before, so far I've only played retaliations on the PTS on heroic, so I'm not trying to speak for or change any of the lower difficulties. Now don't get me wrong, on my PTS character with no endgame progression, as I said, it did feel like a pretty adequate challenge. There were times where I just got swarmed by too many reinforcements and I died. There was a point in time where the kill squad teamed up with those reinforcements and I died. However, even on my character, depending on the build and under the right conditions, things became much easier. For instance, I used a sniper build with Headhunter on one of the kill squads, and I wiped every one of them out without really breaking a sweat. And so to take that foundation and experience and extrapolate that to what it might feel like on my actual main character, who's got 40% more damage minimum from shade levels and expertise, all the other bells and whistles and stats of several years worth of progression, I just worry that something that has the amazing bones and framework to be a high intensity, unpredictable control point rush kind of mode may turn into another piece of pushover content. And to be fair, this may just be a symptom of the insane power creep that we have in the Division 2. It's likely not actually Retaliation's fault. That said, I do wonder if there could be edge on the difficulty, in this case heroic. Legendary difficulty on this, it would certainly be nice, but in terms of specifics, as far as the timer of the mode goes, it's kind of hard for me to say if it's in a good spot or not, because in my experience so far, if you mess up once, like on your first control point, it can be pretty hard to recover, but as soon as you clear one of the control points for the kill squad, you kind of just forget that the timer is even there, right? You get enough to just be able to go and do the rest of your stuff. So maybe there could be some further fine tuning done there, as well as it might be nice to see the timer cater to what map you're playing on. For example, as far as I've seen, you get the same 8-minute timer if you were in DC with 4 control points in your zone versus if you're in Brooklyn with only 2 points in your zone. Enemy density is another topic. I really appreciate the randomly spawning waves of enemies that you get as you traverse through the map. But for those just to be one cluster of red and purple ads, that's nothing, right, to an endgame build. So it would be amazing to see an increased amount of enemy counts in those waves, maybe a different variety of squad types, maybe some more varied or unique spawn locations to keep them a bit less predictable. I am very curious to see how those aforementioned maneuvers play into the between control point flow, because that did definitely feel a little bit empty in this presentation. The last main point that I then wanted to hit on was the kill squads. Now, don't get me wrong, I love these in theory, right? And sometimes the combination of the time they spawn and the specific composition of their unit did prove to be a real challenge. However, in general, named enemies with no specialty to them will die very quickly for a lot of the higher-end endgame geared players. And so, instead of these just being bosses with nothing to them, what if you were to give them shade skills, right? The defender drone or bombardier drone or sniper turret or sniper, those skills, not like the nemesis and pass, for example, those are a real threat. I want to feel fearful when I see that notification that a kill squad is spawned in, instead of like it is now, where I'm just like, great, I've got 5 health bars running my way to mow them all down. Other than all of those points, as I stated, I do really love the framework here. The redesigned control point flow feels fun. Please crazy enemy density and those wacky squad combinations that I mentioned to the max. Just keep things unpredictable, keep it fast-paced, because so far, Retaliations have the promise to be really great fun. So that is the overview of the Division 2's new Retaliation. Some of my first impressions and thoughts on it. It's pretty wild that we're getting something like this in Year 7 game, and also only a few weeks to go until this releases in the live game. I do hope that we see some good refinements and improvements even later on down the road. Regardless, I am still excited to play this on the live server, try it out some character. At this point, though, I turn it over to you guys. What are your thoughts on this new Retaliation game? Whether you've played it, whether you've just been watching time through the year, what's your take? Does it look to be satisfactory enough for you, for how you play the game? Do you agree with some of my proposed feedback? Do you maybe have other ideas? Whatever you've got, I look forward to reading through it. That's going to do it for me on this one, though. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you back soon. Road goal. Out.
Agent requesting backup.
And my Rest Ever Cool Comforter.
What is that?
It's a cooling comforter that makes you literally sleep cooler because the science in sleep cooler, you actually wake up feeling more rested and your day's better and your life's better and it's as simple as that.
Okay, let me touch it. Whoa! Okay, wait. This actually is really cooling, right? Yeah! Oh my gosh! So it's like hot and now I'm like
Right?
So, yeah. Defeat the enemy before your reinforcements are spent.
Hostile explosive seeker mine detected. Invite received. Medical assistance needed. Agent down. Agent vital signs 0. Boost online. An agent needs assistance. Hostile explosive seeker mine detected. The boost is being taken by allies. Allies have acquired the boost. Medical assistance needed. Agent incapacitated. Agent deceased.
Is about to be pulled out. You're too strong for them. friendly is claiming the supply drop. The specialization supply drop has been claimed by an ally.
Hostile explosive seeker mine detected. Agent down.
Victory. They won't be coming back now. Neutralize all enemies before you run out of reinforcements.
Hostile explosive seeker mine detected. Hostile defender drone detected. Critical. Agent incapacitated. Agent vital signs 0. An agent needs assistance. Boost. Hostile Stinger Hive detected. The boost is being taken by the enemy. And the enemy has acquired the boost. Hostile defender drone detected. Hostile explosive seeker mine detected. Agent down.
The enemy can't keep up. They're about to get pulled out.
Serious trauma detected. Agent incapacitated. Agent vital signs 0. An agent needs assistance. Agent down. An agent needs assistance.
I've sent a specialization supply drop your way. You've won an emphatic victory. Well done.